Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Stat Check episode 197. This episode is titled An August Affair because it's the end of August, and apparently that means that we're all dying. Nathan is off with the sickness and had to cancel going to the Ottawa team event. I am a little under the weather. Anthony's feeling the best he's ever felt because Space Marine changes are happening. We'll talk all about those and more later. I was at an event. Anthony probably avoided thinking about Warhammer basically at all outside of the abstract. All the good stuff. We're here. We're live. Anthony, how you been, my friend?
I'm doing great, dude. Set free from the bonds of, the chasing the dragon for forever. Revitalized by an announcement of, changes coming to Marines and thus the rest of the Chaos Line. Um, yeah, it's an exciting time. Feeling pretty good about 40K, which is an uncommon thread
Awesome.
for
I'm
ya
happy
boy.
for you. Anthony feeling good about 40K. Usually 40K is in a terrible space, by the way, guys.
Whoa,
So just
whoa, that's not true at all.
last time I saw Anthony feel joy was when Talos came in squads of 3.
That's not true. I had lots of fun for large amounts of ninth, even after I wasn't playing Talos, dude. It was 10th. 10th was the bullet in the enjoyment for the most part. But yeah, blessed with a new edition, unburdened by the issues of old. We will proceed into a future with variable toughness characteristics for infantry.
Dude, that'd be
Insane.
crazy. What if
It's gonna be
everything in
so
infantry
cool.
was combined between 3 and 7? Instead, we had more range.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, Eldar will go to 2 in their book. It's gonna
Oh,
be
like
crazy,
Gretchen
dude.
stayed at 2, right?
Who?
Gretchen, I
Yeah,
assume, stayed at
Gretchen
2.
or 2. They've
Well,
been
that's
2 for
good.
a while. Yeah,
That's the
progress,
important
dude.
part. We've got
I'm pretty
everything from
excited.
2 to 8 now. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's an exciting time.
It's gonna be funny when
Um,
Desert Terminator at the same time as a Dread Knight, but let's not worry about that.
that's probably fine. I think that plays out accurately.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Oh, how's your week after WTC been going? You doing up to much?
No, I mean I'm mostly I like popped into the little local RTT that was happening on Saturday to distribute goods from WTC to folks. And then I mostly kind of hung out. I threw out my back something fierce on Sunday, and then got a bad tummy ache yesterday, and now I'm cruising, dude.
We are
I've
all
gotten
just
rid of
falling apart this month. It's
all
great.
my little stupid speed bumps out of the way, and I'm feeling pretty good today.
Good. I'm
So
glad to hear it.
yeah, it's that's pretty good. How are you, dude? You sound like death.
I'm doing not great, which is crazy because it's not the WTC thing that everybody got after WTC. I know like Francois was
I,
dying and all
I
that kind
heard a
of stuff.
bunch of people got fucked up by that. I did
I did
not,
not
but
get sick at WTC at all. I never get sick at WTC. It's great. I'm usually very tired afterwards. But
yeah.
no, I came back from Aberdeen this weekend, and my throat just started being like, what if you were just itchy all the time? And then that's gone away, and instead my nose is completely jammed. Um,
That
yeah,
seems
it's
shit,
gotten worse
dude.
in the last 10 minutes somehow. It's great.
Yeah. That's what I was
So yeah,
saying.
we're
It was like
powering
when we
through.
first
We're
got
powering
on,
through.
you weren't that fucked up sounding.
We're powering through. We're gonna do our best.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been good. I went to an event. I played Greg Chamberlain's Doors list. I managed to apparently f up my character attachments in such a way that my target card are duplicated. So apparently I played 2,300 points. Definitely didn't do
One
that.
sec.
No, but okay, Anthony's vanishing. I definitely didn't play 2,300 points for anyone who's curious. But yeah, I played Greg Chamberlain's Doors list. I played Take and Hold for the first time at a tournament, which was really, really, really boring. WoW is Take and Hold just me stand objective, me no die, heroic. So that was great. I went another event of dropping functionally no primary. Uh, Secondaries continue to elude me, but primary overrated.
I'm
Imagine
back.
dropping primary as Take and Hold or Prio. Um,
Yeah, those two both don't do that. That's not a
Yeah.
thing.
Heads up for anybody who's considering playing Greg Chamberlain's list. Don't use Nord Simulators as Diva Charons. Those Diva Charons are comfortably 2.5 times the height. It feels like they get shot from every angle, and I feel bad about drawing line of sight from their hands. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to use their hands for line of sight. People do not have that same courtesy shooting me back, which is fair because I'm using the
Tough.
model that's way too big. Um, they don't fit anywhere. Their bases are obnoxiously large, and they interact really poorly with like ruins on tables because they're so much taller. They don't even get cover easier because they're in like such a position that they don't because I rebased them from they were on the like the old the flyer bases, right? I rebased them onto the 100 mils because that's what Nords come on, and they overhang that base like a motherfucker. It's really hard to get them to like actually touch a terrain feature from outside. So you know, I really put myself in hard mode for this one, which is great because I still won, which is really nice. Nice little 13%. Assimilation Swarm is a ton of fun. Being able to like drain tank is, it's always enjoyable. I like playing that kind of army sometimes. And Nordic simulators with a 4-up field of pain are a drug. I at one point had a Pyrovore squad get shot by a castigator and Vol and live. With
Hilarious.
Vol and unit. Uh, but I was holding an objective, you see, therefore I have a 4-up field of pain. And that meant that it took four failed Melta saves to kill the first guy.
Oh my god, dude.
Sometimes you just scab the guy when he's not in Melta range. He subbed in a 6 when I was at 3 health and I didn't die, and then
And then that was that.
yeah, it was very obnoxious. So yeah, I played. What did I play? I played 3 games against Persival, 1 against Prio, and 1 against the Take It Home Mirror match. That was against the 30 Space Wolf Terminators list. Certainly, that list does really only have those 2 turns of lethal hits to do all of its damage, and after that, man, does it not do any damage
It does
into
not.
toughness 11. Strength 5 is a miserable, miserable profile to be
Just
stuck on for Space Wolf
just
Terminators.
being 6 would fix them instantly.
Dude, I don't
Uh,
even think that list is bad, right? That list is good with them at 5 if
yeah,
you're good at hitting 8s or 7s from reserves.
sure.
Unfortunately, my opponent was only like he only got like 1 of his 3 that he tried for that on.
Sure.
Uh, so it wasn't quite as brutal. I got to play against Blood Legion, but Blood Legion Warp Tide, which is kind of interesting. I charged 2 Nords into 2 Bloodthirsters and lost both fights, which was tough. But yeah, still managed to get the win because tyrants are a pain in the ass. What else did I play against? Played against Sisters. Round 1 was against that court of the Phoenician list I showed you. The
Yes.
30 Infractors, 3 Lord Exalted, 6 Flawless Blades, Lucius, 15 Tormentors list. He went second in Purge the Foe and scouted towards me. Or went second in Search Destroy scouted towards me, so he died very quickly. It
Yeah.
was interesting. I had all 3 Nords in combat on 1, I think. Which was weird. And then what did I play the last round? I played against Ret Cadre, and Ret Cadre really, really did kill the first Nord to the wound with their entire army, and then got charged by my army. And yeah, that was not good for them either. It is
Rough.
very, very challenging to stop Purge the Foe from scoring points when you're making spore mines, though. I did learn that.
That
Uh,
shit is a little annoying.
yeah, they do just be scoring. Everybody just be scoring. I think every army in the game scores about 15 too many points on primary. Uh, and I would really like it if they did. It would be great.
I think
Um,
scoring could be I think it just could be a little more intentional. That's all. Like I don't it simultaneously too much incentivizes the like table you and score on their corpse and also doesn't do enough to allow you to play the game like on the scoreboard because you're just kind of gonna score, which is
Yeah.
lame.
I wish there was like more stuff that was like you shouldn't have more than one condition that is not hold objectives, I feel like, at the start of your command phase. Like you should have one thing that isn't hold objective in your command phase, and that would be enough.
I mean,
Like if you've got purge, if you've got an action, whatever, you get one thing. Otherwise, hold objectives. Come on, guys.
yeah, yeah.
But
I think a
it
return to
feels
more holding of the objectives would be
so
good.
trivial in some games. Like some games, you're just like, I don't even have to like my expansion is held. You don't get to it, and I just do whatever I want. I don't even have to engage with your primary. Uh, the number of times is like take it, hold it to person. I would just be like, and then my 2 Nords that are the 2 middle objectives untap, and I get a 15 on primary. I don't even need to hold the middle at the end of the turn. I'm just gonna walk forward, I guess. Um, yeah, it was
I
kind of
just
comical.
I just think like they just need to introduce better turn caps. Like for both secondary and primary,
It really could be
probably.
10.
I think maybe experiment with 12 before we go
I
all the way
really think
down
it
to
could be
10.
10. I really think it could be 10.
Also, I think
Yeah.
you'd fix a lot of the primary stuff if you just made that end of battle shit count against your turn 5 cap.
That's also true. I think that, like, by and large as well, I'm continuing to have the frustration, but I will say that I have not played an army that doesn't generate a CP in its command phase yet. I've played Swarmlord and Atrial for every event game that I've played so far, but
It's annoying.
mother trucker, do I have not discarded a secondary yet this edition, unless it was like turn 4, my guy had died, and I was like comfortably going to score 40 plus anyway.
Yep.
It is so obnoxious how well holding cards just means that you don't have to care about cards. The number of
Yep.
times I've been like, oh, I've not scored a card in the first 3 turns, but I did I did,
Boop,
I scored
boop.
one card,
Yep.
and I'm like, I got 40 anyway, or 38 anyway, and it
Yep.
just does not seem to matter. I really do think that you shouldn't be able to hold more than 2 cards past the turn. Uh,
Maybe cap at 3 just to retain some of their.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like I'm never really holding more than 3 past the turn anyway, and untapping with 5 still feels like too many.
No, no, no.
But,
I'm saying like start. You can have 3 in your hand. That's the
oh,
hand size
sure. Yeah.
cap.
I like the idea of like you could hold 2, or yeah, you could never you draw up to 3, or you draw 2 more to 3 seems reasonable. Yeah, I don't hate that. The
Hand
idea
size
being that
caps at
like
3. How you get there is up to you.
yeah, you could hold 2 cards and score one of them and then draw 2 new ones or some shit like that. Seems fine, right?
Up
Like if
to
you want to
you.
get your Picador, yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
it's very easy to score cards right now, and I feel like I will say that it feels like I'm winning all of my games by denying my opponent's secondaries by killing them, and then not really, or like not being able to be killed. Like by playing, when I played Dark Angels or played this, it's a lot of you won't kill any of my stuff because it's all really durable, and I'm not giving you like random garbage, and I'm going to try to kill all of your small secondary stuff, and I'm not really going to target your primary because how the hell would I do that?
Right.
Or I table you, right? Those are the kind of like the 2 options.
Yeah. I mean, I've been
And
saying
I
for a
found,
while,
yeah,
like, I think my strong preference when it comes to dispositions is like purge and take, and then I will play prio as well. And then I think the other two are pretty distant from that, but still with a, like, as far as the other two are distant from that, I really don't, like, recon is still that much better than disruption.
yeah, I'm considering. I have a little GT this weekend. It's like a 15 player or something like that GT. So I'm probably going to play Disruption or Purge for this one because they're the 2 I haven't played yet.
Yeah.
Get a feel for one of them. I think it might be a good chance to play Disruption, but I'm waiting to see if there's a date slate tomorrow. So before I make
Right.
any decisions,
Purge is fun.
uh, Purge is fun, but I'm pretty comfortable that I can like play Purge for a real tournament and win it.
Yeah.
Whereas with Disruption, I'm like, if Disruption doesn't get a buff, I would prefer to do that at an RTT than a GT, right? Just for my own
Yeah, for
for
sure.
my own my own sanity and elo protection.
Right.
Yeah, as Mr. Cage says, funny the first 11th codex basically just says any mill gets free CP. Yeah, I do
I
not
mean,
like that aspect of the Orc Codex, but
I
we'll talk about the Orc Codex more when it's officially previewed. We don't want to. We can't really talk too much about it right now.
I do think that if they're just giving it to everyone, it's fine. Like I really think everyone should kind of just have it. It's bullshit that some armies have access to that and others don't. It's really fucking annoying as like someone that's kind of tripped into being a World Eater EC only pilot at this point. I mean, even in CSM, like just across the 3, just not having access to CP gen past like hope this icon kills something and I hit the CP. Literally nothing in CSM, and then only through a 300 point
Hey.
event.
Abaddon, yeah.
Yeah, in CSM is like
And
okay,
there's like 4 relics that do it as well, right? In CSM, but yeah, none of them are
but
particularly
nothing does
exciting.
it in Eaters. Is kind of what I was
No,
getting at.
nothing
You
does
have to
it
kill
here.
a character with an MOE.
I do feel like in general the free CP guy is as good, if not better, under normal circumstances as the Demon Prince. But I appreciate the Demon Prince has other problems in World Eaters, like being
Yeah,
made of tissue paper.
and also being a 200 something
An
point
absolute bum.
idiot
Yeah, I got it.
where your CP lives in a 12-inch circle around
Yeah,
him.
but I do
Yeah,
think that like in general that mechanic is very powerful and should not be understated as like a CP manager. Like the fact that the list I was playing this weekend had the Swarm Lord and the Hive Tyrant is just like wee comedy CP, right? Like I had 4 a
yeah,
turn.
that's different.
Sitting in front of my opponent saying I'm going to AOC plus 4. I'm gonna forward field of pain and interrupt the two Nords you charged,
Yep.
and then you're going to get hit back by both Nords because you're not killing either of them under this circumstance is obnoxious as hell, and I very much enjoyed it, but also can appreciate how much of a negative play pattern that is for the average player.
Yep.
Nords are kind of silly, uh, they, but I think they're more of a take and hold symptom than anything else. But yeah, outside of that, I think if GSC get any reasonable buffs tomorrow, I'm going to try and change GSC to my event. Otherwise, I will figure something else out. I started building some of my custodians models. I gave up because I tried to build the banner, and the banner drove me so mad because the contact point is about approximately the size of a piece of fucking string, and it melted like instantly. And now I don't want to build my custodians anymore. So that's a tomorrow. That's a tomorrow when I'm feeling a bit more awake problem.
Yeah, less
Um,
less sick and gross and
yeah,
frustrated.
exactly. Yeah, less sick and gross, and also inhaling plastic fumes just
Yeah.
consistently is probably like not contributing to my mental state being the best it could be.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna, we're starting on the long journey towards getting the Titan ready, the Titans army ready for my event in December. I got four
Let's
months
go,
to get it
dude.
sorted, so we'll be running our Team Scotland event in December, and I'm committed that I will be playing Ringer-ish for that one. Uh, and we shall see how that goes because, I want to get the Titan on the table because it just seems like a bit of fun. Uh, I would love to buy actually. Well, the one thing I would really love to play this weekend, if I could, was I would love to play the new Exodites for Eldar because they
They're
just seem like a ton
cool.
of fun. But I literally you can't get them. They're completely unavailable.
They're
They sold out in like
unobtainium.
30 seconds,
Yeah.
and they were like £100 per three for eBay resellers, so like $150 per three.
Or
And I
you
was just
just
like,
buy
I'm
the
not doing
AOS,
that.
the AOS ones, dude. Fuck that.
I could, but I like the models, and I actually do kind of want them, and I like my Elder Army, so I'm
Yeah,
kind of
that's
just
fair.
like I'm just gonna wait until they come out properly, but be mad about it the whole time.
That's fair.
Um, but I like the idea of playing like the Twilight Flickers plus Elder Traders, the Advanced Charge one. It
Sure.
just seemed like a ton of fun. I've been chatting to some clients about it. It seems interesting, but you know, it's also take and hold, so I don't really want to do take and hold again.
I'm sure there's some
Uh,
nonsense in Windrider host with it.
yeah, I'm sure Ruben will be doing stupid things with it that no one else will be able to mirror because that army's not actually good. Ruben's just playing in the Pacific Northwest,
Ruben's just
and
a monster. Yeah.
yeah, well, playing in the Pacific Northwest, you can kind of
He's
take
not
that
in
in
the
either
Pacific
direction.
Northwest, dude. He's
Is
in
he not?
California.
Is that not the same thing?
No, there's two states
Basically the
up
same thing,
there.
right?
I guess in NorCal, you could argue. I don't think so.
They're basically the same area. Like, it's all the same metagame, right? It's all the same players. So, um, so yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks. And then yeah, outside of that, like I've got what have I got coming up? I've got this weekend I'm in Saltire for an event. The weekend after that I'm in Rome for the Team Italy Invitationals with Liam and two
That'll be
Italian
fun.
players. The weekend after that I'm in Krakow. The weekend after that I think I have a weekend off. Then it's LGT into LVO. So really
That's
just
busy, dude. That's
that's
tough.
really just keeping it going. And then I canceled an event in Belgium the weekend after because I was like, I can't do LGT LVO then a weekend in Belgium, so I canceled
No,
that one.
that
That's
sounds
also
like,
Battle of Britain weekend, which I'll be sleeping for. Someone else can deal with Battle of Britain this year.
yeah, I was gonna say
Uh,
that sounds like someone else's problem, dude.
yeah, then we have the Great Scottish Team event, which I'm very much looking forward to. I've got a bunch of awesome people coming over for that one from all over the world. So yeah, this should be a good time. But yeah, I'm very, very, very much like getting prepped up for the sort of end of December, like the rest of this year's push for number one of the ITC. Right, that's the rest of the year for me.
Yep, that makes sense, man. You're finally gonna take the crown home at one
And I gotta get one of them at some point,
instead of
right?
1.5.
Got to get one at some point. And this is a McLaren fan. I'm actually not. My sister just used to work for them, and I have a bunch of merch from them. I don't watch Formula One at all, but it's a nice jacket. So,
Yeah,
and I was really cold. So,
fair enough.
um, all right. What have you got coming up, Anthony? You doing anything?
I am refing for Challengers Cup. Um, I am. There is. I don't know how dead Ennis is. We'll all find out together shortly. Um, I am also likely going to be taking on a refing position for
I
BFS
just figured none of
singles.
you needed to hear me blow my nose.
Oh, that's fair. Um, I will. I'm considering a refing position for BFS. I might be head ref for that. I haven't
Sick.
decided just yet. I don't know exactly what the plan is. But I will likely be refing for BFS singles. And then I will be running the charity event that I run every year in December. I'm going to be doing that again. I'm going to try and convince a bunch of US based people to come over for it. Maybe not force you to fly over for it after all the travel that you're doing. I think you're marked safe
I'm
this time.
gonna take December. I'm pretty sure I'm taking December off,
You should
like
probably
outside of
take,
an event.
yeah, November off as well, dude.
After like I have WCW, and then there's a GT in Scotland, and I'm taking the rest of December off after that.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, all my stuff involves being non-playing at this point, right? I'm settling into a comfortable non-playing space unless something in the game really excites me in such a way where I like want to go do something.
Like for example, maybe Toughness 5 World Years.
I mean, look, there's, maybe it gets crazy, dude. I maintain somewhat firmly that the AOC meta in ninth was the best meta in ninth, besides like the actual end. So I think that's something that exists to give the various power armor factions a way to feel tougher without,
Being
just be,
hordes
what's up?
without being hordes
Yeah,
with
without being
infuriating.
just tons of idiots is really fucking great. I love these like more elite, more like MSU, like hard hitting meta. There's just so much that could be dope if they opt into doing this correctly. And it's a lot of change, and it's a big change, and we could talk about it in its own little
Yeah,
segment.
we'll
But
talk
yeah,
about it after we do the like stats breakdown and all that
but
kind of stuff. But
but in general, yeah, I have a lot of optimism for the coming changes. Now that all said, I have been uh, what's the phrase Tim taught me
burned
many moons
before,
ago? I have been burning the candle at both ends with
starting in
a
the middle. Yep.
blowtorch in the center for a
Yep.
while. So I am ready for a playing break for a while. So I will probably not be playing in anything realistically outside of like a random local thing until I really don't have an answer. Like I am not planning to play for basically
Well,
anything.
obviously, if you don't Captain WC, you play War Masters, right?
Probably not. I'd have to really like the game to be willing to. Yeah, I think like a non-playing captain role has certain responsibilities that come along with it, and I think to be able to do those to the best of my ability, I still wouldn't want the fatigue from War Masters.
That's fair.
So I think if I were to go that route, or even just in like a coaching role, I just I'd rather be locked in and focused on the thing that I'm there to achieve rather than treating
That's
it
fair.
as like a singles event. Um, but that's a little bit my own relationship with competition, right? I can't like lock in, lock out.
Can't
That's not like a
half-ass it.
thing. So yeah, I think there's a lot of like cool shit coming down the pike, and it could be really cool. I think as long as they go in and do some tuning work with dispos, I think that'll solve one of the largest things right now. Like Ines and I were just talking about some ways that they could improve the scoring stuff in the missions. If they take on any of that feedback, they onboard those changes, 11th is in a position to be really enjoyable.
Yeah, I
They
mean, like
just
there
have
were
to
some GW people
do
at
that.
WC this year taking like notes and tracking
Yeah.
people. There was obviously they were at Newport Open. They ran that one. Obviously, they only got a ton of data. I'm hoping that this data slate is generally taking on board of that. But I think that I would expect this data slate to be dramatically less impactful than the one that happens when we get the points update for Marines, right? Like that just seems
Yeah.
like it's going to be like the calm before the storm.
Yeah, I mean, they have game bones things that need to be addressed. I mean, like as simple as like our round against Italy, right? There was a 12-8, and then the rest of the scores were 16 or more on either side. That's not great. Um,
It's tough.
so just
Scout's way too good, man. I don't know what you do about Scout, but like I'm
we
glad they fixed Scout Infiltrate,
we
but
had
like they could do.
Scout last edition. That the
I
Scout's
know.
not the problem.
I mean, it was
Dawn is the
last edition
problem.
as well. Well, Dawn is a problem. Dawn and Search are a problem. I was chatting to someone about doing the like. We spoke about this a bit on the show a couple weeks ago, right? Like of doing the ban system in singles, where you're like, we both ban a map.
Yeah.
And what's ended up happening is that like I've from chatting to some people who were some events that were running in Germany, is it's a lot of like, and the Tau players ban the non-Dawn Search destroy map, and you pick, do you want to die on Dawn or Search against like Monka, and that's it's not better, right? Search
Search
goes
is
against them.
Search is not in the same conversation as Dawn. They are
I
so different.
genuinely think it is with the way
That
the staging works on the current maps.
maybe the new maps are worse for it, but like that hasn't been my experience. In general, like on Search, you can at least go backwards and hide.
I'll say that generally, like when we were like we took Monka to WGC, our Monka was picking Search most rounds.
Sure, it's less flippy to do that, right? But that's because you can go backwards.
Well, I mean, like it was pushing bigger diff on Search is the reason we were doing that. Like it was doing better on Search than it was on Dawn.
Yeah. And I mean, it has a lower downside, right? That's the reality of it, is that like sometimes you get pinned, you know.
Yeah, and I know that like I don't know how you were you getting much in the way of board priority, or were you just diving up grenades?
God,
Yeah,
no.
I would imagine.
And
But would
even
you have
then, I
been?
was taking flip matchups, so I would take safer boards to not
Yeah,
engineer
you're landing on
scenarios.
like tipping points and things like that to try to have like more stability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I
Um,
do think it's a like I would like to see something along the lines of like you move it into like like the A layouts are all of the dawns, sweepings, and searches. The B layouts is just Crucible, and the C layouts is tipping and hammer level or something like
sure.
that.
Yeah,
If
we've
you're
talked
gonna
about
get
that
like
before.
if we're living in the space and it's like, hey, we must have all six of these layouts available, which I could very easily see being like a required direction, is that you
Sure.
just like compress them a little bit, and we
I,
put most of the games on hammer and Crucible.
just
But
because I don't want to deal with a ban system in my local, what I'm probably going to do for that, and depending on how much
it's
authority I'm
just say
allowed
you
to
play
have
the
for
next one.
BFS, is just play the next one. It'll go A B C A B C A B
And if
whatever.
it's dawn or search, dawn or sweeping, play the next one.
Donner sweeping, fuck it off, play the next one. And yeah, like
I do
sometimes
think that
search
is
is not the world's most comfy deployment, but it still just beats the fucking brakes off Dawn and
Yeah, I
sweeping.
mean, it's still not fun to go second against scout armies on search, but at least you can go backwards and score no points, or stay forward and die, right? But at least you can go backwards and have a turn.
Have an army. You get to play the game. Also, if you have infiltrate, it really mitigates like the search thing a lot better. An infiltrate doesn't do almost anything against scout
Not
on
jack shit
Dawn.
on Dawn. Yeah,
So
it's like, which side would you like to not die a little bit less on?
yeah,
I let my opponent my opponent round on tipping point in round 7 like have both the first two drops because I just didn't care. They just went around both their infiltrating units with
yeah,
Samuel.
it's
It just didn't
terrible.
matter.
Yeah, crushing, truly.
It's tough. All right, let's do some stats and then let's continue with the stuff. So these are going to be fairly rudimentary stats this week, guys. We do have to apologize that Jeremy and Nathan are both sick right now. So we have some quick stats from the scraper. These are not full of everything data, but they are covering covering most of our bases. So in fifth place for armies with more than in first place for armies with less than 10 players, we have Death Watch with 3 players with an 81% win rate,
Oh yeah,
with an
Death
average
Watch.
first loss of round 5.
Death Watch.
Those 3 guys are having the best time. Maybe I should play Death Watch Purse this weekend. That'd be a bit of fun.
Hell
Ruin
yeah,
my
dude.
locals weekend again. Um, but of factions with actually more than 10 players, in fifth place we had Space Wolves with 14 players. They had a 55.71% win rate and an average for we don't have over reps here, sorry. An average first round loss of 2.2. In fourth place we had Dark Angel with 31 players and a 56% win rate. In third place we had Adeptus Custodes with 41 players and a 56.65% win rate. These are all including mirrors because we don't have the I actually do have the data 57.38 excluding mirrors. Eldari were in second with 22 players, a 61.62% win rate excluding mirrors, and Chaos Demons were in first place with a 63.21% win rate excluding mirrors, 62.5% including mirrors. That is a very, very, very high win rate for Eldari and Chaos Demons,
Yeah, those
especially
are.
with like 23 and 22 players. That is kind of
I
nuts.
was gonna say at some point you got to just be like, hey man, they're just
Maybe
doing
Eldar
it.
aren't bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wonder if that is. I would actually have to look into the stats a little bit. I wonder if that is Dino Riders actually making an impact, or if it's just people finding better builds.
probably
Because
a
I
bit
don't
of
know how
both,
much
right? I think there was a degree of like people just being chained to uh
aspect.
yeah, exactly, aspect and therefore disruption, and that maybe panned out poorly for the Eldar.
Yeah, that's fair. There was Clement Bernard went 5-0 with disruption this weekend. There was Nick Nanavati went 5-0 with a Serpent's Brood Armored Warhost list with reconnaissance.
Yep.
There were a grab bag of 4-1s as well. It looks like 4-4-1s, one with Warhost and Armored Warhost. One with Windrider Host and Armored Warhost, one with Serpent's Brood and Armored Warhost, one with Eldritch Raiders Armored Warhost, and one with Windrider Host Path of the Outcast. And then, yeah, the 5-0s were Serpent's Brood Armored Warhost and Aspect Host Disruption. So 1 disruption, 4 reconnaissances, and a Purge the Foe went undefeated for Eldar this weekend.
Okay.
Or went 4-1 or better for Eldar this weekend. Apologies.
Yeah.
For Chaos Demons, let's take a quick look at this. I'm just stealing stats from Listhammer this weekend. Apologies. So this data is not to the same degree cleaned, but Listhammer is a great resource that I recommend if you are waiting for us to get sorted. Let's have a look at what went 5-0 or 4-1 for Demons. We have a Warptide Legion of Excess list is Prio, an Incursion list is Disruption, a Shadow Legion a Cavalcade list that went 5-1, a Plague Legion Warptide list that went 5-1, a Prio Wartide Excess list went 4-0, and then dropped by the look of it. That's a 16-person event, to be fair. Warptide Legion of Excess is Prio, went 4-1. Plague Legion Warptide went 4-1 as Taken Hold. Blood Legion Cavalcade went 4-1 as Purge the Foe. Blood Legion Warptide went 4-1 as Purge the Foe. Cavalcade. So, yeah, a decent grab bag. This looks like 1, 2, 3 undefeated lists and like 5 to 8 Taken Hold. X1 lists with a decent mix. Actually, a lot of Prio, Taken Hold, and Purge the Foe, depending basically if you're playing Warp Tie. If you're playing Access, you're playing Prio. If you're playing Plague Legion, you're playing Taken Hold. If you're playing Blood Legion, you're playing Purge the Foe. Seems to be the sort of general trend.
Yeah,
The
you take
Eldritch
the
Raiders
not
list had
the
3 Wraith Knights, I believe.
fucking hell
Yay,
yeah,
man.
dude.
I think I'm just about far enough removed that I think that's cool again instead of flinching.
I still flinch a little, but I just
I think they're sword and board, which makes it cool instead of cringe.
that is cooler. That's fair.
Yeah, mine unfortunately has guns. I should probably go and take the weapons off that and build it as a sword and board.
I just think 350 plus point models should be kind of shit.
Yeah, just like Agron. He's nailing it.
Yep. I think Angron should be the the bar. He should be too good on the scale of.
Aggro should be a rule of cool model that you play because you want to have a good time, not a thing you play because he's a relevant game piece.
That's right, baby.
It turns out that a game of chess, the nuke is probably a little better than the queen.
Yeah, just a smidge.
Two sword board, one with guns, and the avatar of like 6 star fangs for some reason. I still
Fucking
like star
hell
fangs.
yeah, dude. That awesome. That's so cool. I'll just, I'll never be as cool as someone willing to do that. It just is what it is.
Dude's better Warhammer than I'll ever be.
Yep.
All right, our bottom 5, excluding Imperial Ages and Gene Culture, both combined did not hit 10 players. In 5th place, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Black Templars with 10 players and a 42.59% win rate. In 4th place, we had Blood Angels with 27 players and a 41.46% win rate. In 3rd from the bottom, we had Adeptus Sororitas with 14 players and a 41.18% win rate. Proud to contribute to that win rate. In 2nd from last, we had Adeptus Mechanicus with 19 players. Anthony, you want to guess?
AdMech being that low is very surprising.
Well, we just said 41.18 for the 3rd place. We're going lower.
38?
Yep, 38.64 for Adeptus Mechanicus.
Fucking. Wait, that means so much worse than that? That's not good.
Yeah, and then in 2nd place, we have last place, excluding Gene Circles, who, by the way, had 6 players and a 22.73% win rate.
Oof.
We had Imperial Knights, 16 players, a 36.49% win rate.
Look, that's tough, but also see what I said a second ago. I think that's fine.
Man, GSC is that is a tough spot for GSC. 22.73% win rate. They also had outside of agents, the lowest average first round loss with an average loss of 1.2.
They should just take a spin of making Biosanctic a little too good again.
I really don't think they should do that. I think they should make Host of Ascension a 2 DP.
No, they should.
Come on, it'd be fun.
I think shooting
just
GSC
as a little treat for me.
Shooting GSC is terrible to play against, dude. It sucks.
just a little treat for me.
No.
Come on, it'd be fine. It plays Take and Hold.
Let it rush again. No, it's fine. It was cool when Biosanctic was too good.
C'est la vie. All right. So that's our stats. Thank you to Nathan for sending me some super quick ones from the scraper. Obviously, keep an eye out for the dashboard update with the full updated data when Nathan and Jeremy are back in office and not dying. Apparently, that is just going around these days. Anthony is sapping all of our strength. That's what I'm kind of learning.
Sorry. I don't feel bad about it. But
That's
I am
fair.
sorry.
Sorry, you'll respond to my DM at some point as well.
Did you DM me something?
Yeah, I did. You're a monster.
Okay. Well, I'll look at that later.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna get you an answer.
All right. Let's talk about Space Marines, I guess. So
yeah, dude.
There were like 2 big things that got announced this week. One is Legends and Legendary Proxies, which is just Legends, but with like a slap on the ass cheek on the way out. It's like,
little spice on it,
sprinkle of compensation buffs. I'm definitely using I don't own Bolter and Scepters, so I'm definitely using my 6 Suppressors as Bolter and Scepters.
Hell yeah,
that was
dude.
like big change for me personally, because I've avoided using any list that included those for like 3 years now.
Because you were just like, I'm not doing this.
I've got 9 Plasma ones. I'm not buying more Bolt ones.
That's so funny.
Dude, Space Marines is a give and take, man. You have to decide how much of your life you're willing to sell to it sometimes. And I was like, my line is Bolter and Scepters.
Look, I guess that's fair.
So now I have suppressors, which is cool. I now own like 30 Desolation Marines because I own Devastators, which is cool. I guess I own Mutilators because I have Assault Centurions. I mean, what else are they gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have a job anymore. That's fair. It sucks, but
a lot of stuff got into Legends for Space Marines. The big things being basically every tank that is based on the Rhino except the Rhino. The poor regular Dreadnought who has been genuinely asked the entire time I've played the game, except for one very brief period in 7th edition.
Yep.
Do you know why the Rifleman Dreadnought was the best data sheet in the game at the time?
Because it had 8 autocannon shots.
Yeah, 8 shots at 8-1. It was like 8-1. It was effectively like 7-1-1 with 8 shots with 4 shots that rerolled to hit.
Wow, that's crazy, dude.
You could play 3 of them for like 200 points each. And then the best data sheet in the game was actually the Grey Knights one because it could be strength 8, which means it could hurt vehicles. It's
Insane.
been a while since that thing's been good.
Yeah, I think so.
That would be a bad gun on an orc vehicle now.
Yeah, it would be the fucking backup gun.
I feel like, oh, that's what a stubber does now.
No. Yeah,
Yeah, we also lost basically everything. Firstborn is gone. It was all mostly gone anyway, but it's now really gone.
keeping the Rhino is sick. That means a bunch of melee builds just got a huge bump.
Not gonna lie, I immediately sat and was like, ooh, that seems a lot better for Sword Brethren and
Blade Guard
Blood
vets.
Angels and
Yep.
Inner Circle Companions and all this stuff that would really love to be like 2 squads of 5 inside transport, not 1 squad of 6 inside Impulsor.
Yeah. No, that shit rips, dude. That's gonna be really good.
Yeah, I think Blood Angels are obviously like Blood Angels Death Company are still pretty solid. Like they still have the like sustained hits if they're below starting strength, all that kind of stuff. They're really good with fight on death. And that became significantly more accessible when you're jumping 10 of them out of Rhino instead of 6 of them out of Impulsor.
It's so good. It's so nice to have just like a reasonable transport Marines, dude.
Yeah. It honestly might be too good, which I think will be a separate problem to solve, right? Like that's a thing that Marines have been good enough at melee without having access to this for a while, and the fact that they will now have access to it does probably mean that at some degree the Rhino probably can't be 65 points anymore. But
I would, well, yeah, maybe not 65, but in general, I would argue the like Marines have never been a good melee army outside of like the Vitrix window.
Well, you could have put Vitrix Guard in a Rhino, so
which is good. Don't get me wrong, that's great. That rocks. Big fan.
Calgar will not fit in one, thankfully, but
thank fuck for that.
he's intimidating, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I look, the changes as they have announced them sound amazing. Genuinely in fucking credible.
Yeah. The other change that got announced, for anyone who doesn't know, is that the baseline strength profile and toughness profile for Marines is changing to 5, with exceptions for like some of the smaller stuff. So I would imagine like scouts and Infobos stuff is going to stay at 4. But the baseline for a Space Marine will now be T5, which is going to be, from what I understand, applied to every Space Marine in the game. Everything that is like an actual Space Marine. So Grey Knights will get this, World Eaters will get this, Chaos Space Marine will get this, right? Everyone across the range. And will also see points increases commensurate to that change.
Or just, leaving them alone if they're dog shit, hopefully.
Absolutely no chance. World Eaters are going up 1,000,000 points.
No, dude. Let me have faith one time.
You'll wound vehicles on 5s, Anthony. That's too good.
They already do that. Stop it.
Not in the bad detachments. Think about how much more damage Goretrack will do now.
It's a huge bump. Like I'm not lying. It is a big deal for this somewhat small, like in 2 places, 1 point up increase. It's a big deal to how these armies feel in pilot.
The nice thing about it is it basically changes nothing into like strength 3 weaponry or strength 3 armies as well, which I think is a good thing, right? Like it means that like GSC don't suddenly feel more fragile because like strength 5 versus strength 4 doesn't matter. Right. The same thing kind of applies to Eldar. So all it does is it kind of makes their damage a little bit better into bigger targets, and it leaves it kind of the same into themselves, but it doesn't just like, I'm always consistently worried about like armies like GSC and like Guard, is that if you keep making it, like, you just can't play Guardsmen if they just die to 5 intercessors, right? And the fact that intercessors are like losing some shots and all that kind of stuff.
They lose a shitload of shots. They're half as many bullets.
Half as many some of the time. They get rapid fire now.
But weren't they?
They're 2 shots rapid fire now instead of 2 shots double tapping if they fire the same target now.
Ah, I see. So
it's a little different. It's like not. Yeah, it's not enough of a change to be like significantly dramatic, but it is definitely tweaking. Ventress would have loved a Rhino. Well, good for Ventress. Unfortunately, Ventress is a captain now.
Yeah, fuck that guy, dude.
Space Marines never needed access to Vex. That was a mistake.
That was a oops. Yeah, I think it's cool. There are very clearly some mechanics that they're focusing more on some books than others. As an obvious example, I think as well they should be. It seems as though that orcs are going to be the cleave book.
Why are Flak was wounded worse? They're strength 3, my friend. They don't change a bit. I guess in melee, but like melee was overrated. We never doing that.
Yeah, and I think that again, the issue we've had for ages, I would argue for almost all of 10th, is that instead of Marines and these like elite based armies being tougher, more durable, more challenging to kill, this, that, the third, all of the infantry in these armies has always just been point dropped instead. It's fucking dire. It's made like a really messy game state. But it's really exciting now. So yeah, it's a good time to be moving in that direction, man.
Yeah, I think it's generally a good change. I think a lot of the stuff that's like for a lot of armies as well, it's like if they're going up like pulling a number out of a hat like between 15 and 30%, right? It's going to be somewhere in that range.
Yeah,
If you aren't getting 15 to 30% worse at killing them, like it probably doesn't change a ton for you as like a dimension of like what your thing is doing. Now some things will get less efficient into them, but some things will just like, you know, if a multi melta goes from wounding on twos to threes, and but they you lose 20% of your damage output, but they get 20% more expensive. It's net the same,
right.
right? It's a little more swingy, but it is about the same, right? Now that won't apply to every weapon uniformly across the game, but if you're playing like a bunch of strength 10 stuff or a bunch of strength 3 stuff, you won't even notice it into a lot of targets. Now you might into like 30 Terminators, but frankly, 30 Terminators is one of those things that probably just shouldn't get to be on the table
It
with
should be
like
a
the
thing.
rest of an army around it, right?
Yeah,
And I know I've gone on record as saying in the past that I think you should be allowed to have a 10 of Terminators that like drops down in like a slightly selected position and lives a turn, and it shouldn't be that crazy.
if you pay attention to them being alive, right?
Exactly.
If you
And
don't
like
let
I played against 30 Spatial Terminators. The problem was that they were doing that 3 places. That's too many places.
right,
That unit should be 500 points plus a character. It should not be 320 plus a character, right? It's absurd that it's that cheap. But it getting to be like, but that unit also does no goddamn damage. I would significantly rather that unit was strength 6, toughness 6, -1 to wound, and hit like a brick shithouse, but also cost a commensurate number of points.
yeah. I mean, I don't know who would find this, but you could go back to some utterly ridiculous point in 10th when I was like, hey, why are Possessed not just like a 5-man squad that owns? That costs like,
Why are possessed not 8 bound?
yeah. I mean, what 8-bound were
Yeah.
after they got a couple of buffs? Yes, I agree. That is what Possessed and all that stuff always should have been, right? And I think if they're going to move in this direction for Marines, it implies that they're going to do something similar for Custodes. And if they can do something like that for Custodes, I think the Possessed stuff in Chaos should be the equivalency of like a Custode, right? And if they pull that off, that'd be fucking sick.
Yeah. Why are possessed still AP1?
I mean, the Possessed datasheet is an absolute mess. Like, it's just a mess. It's old design principles stapled to like a bad
It's crazy you
idea.
could run a squad of 10 chaos spawn. Uh,
Yeah, basically, right? I mean, I have a lot of faith that they're gonna make those things better in the newer books. If putting aside the fact that it seems like some of the shooting stuff for orcs is gonna be a real issue for a while, I'm acknowledging that and putting that aside for a second.
We'll
It
deal with
looks,
that next week once we have the points
yeah,
and everything officially confirmed, and we can actually talk about it in full.
but if I was an orc pilot, I would be very excited by the orc book. There are fucking Dr. Stone, Dr. Whatever his name is, Strange, holding the fucking stone number of realities where you get a cool build that works the way you want.
Yeah,
And it
for
does
sure.
seem a little like maybe someone was a little too scared of them being too good in melee and then buff the guns because they didn't think about all the ignore cover they got or whatever.
Yeah, but I do like the like thematically that they are adding more levers to pull, right? Because the more that compressed we are on the spectrum, right? Like over the course of the last decade of the edition, they've gone from like everything must be on the 1 to 6 scale, basically, right? Nothing was really above that to
Right,
like adding in things go up to 14 and 13 on strength and 16 on strength and toughness and all this kind of stuff, right? And there's
right,
much more dynamism in the range of things that can be. Well, now if you make things do more stuff, you can make them more expensive instead of just being like, well, you know, by diverging the way that intercessors versus incursors versus infiltrators versus scouts versus reavers, right? They're all the same goddamn data sheet. By adding more ways for them to be different, it lets you
right,
stratify their points costs in a way that actually lets them fill purposes without just being like, well, we now play the strictly better one because it's strictly better because it has this one slightly better rule, and we don't really care that much, but it's just the one that's slightly cheaper, right?
right. I mean, even just we saw this happen when they did the toughness change stuff for vehicles. Vehicles ended up being like this like well striated like different classifications of vehicles at different toughnesses and saves and wounds and so on and so on. OC, um, and that never trickled down into like infantry. It seemed, or felt like.
Yeah, it did really feel like 8 was like 8 and 7 were these kind of like toughness brand that like there was like 6 things in the game that used them
Right,
total, and it feels like those are bads that could be used more. And I think that adding more stuff that could use 4 that isn't just like, well, why is this the same toughness as a Space Marine, right? It feels weird that it's the same toughness as a Space
right.
Marine. will be helpful, right? Like stuff like Eldar Phoenix Lords are T3. They were T4 for like
Yeah,
the
they should be
entirety of
probably
their
4.
existence, right? Like it's
Yep.
probably okay that they're T4. And just some little things like that that I think help a bunch with units feeling a little bit different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think broadly I'm excited to see what happens, and I think the more levers, do you think there's a degree of like just speaking about the Orc issues we've seen previewed, right? Like the Stompa, Gazgal, the Orc boys. That there's a lot of complexity creep this so far this edition that I am worried about, but we shall see how that continues. It just seems like everything does so much stuff now.
And I think that's cool. I think a space where things do more things and they are more expensive is much healthier for the game
Yeah,
than walls
it's
of
very much going to
nonsense
depend if it's
holding
just
free
like,
war
okay,
gear.
are we playing 15 unit orcs instead of 17 unit orcs, or are we playing like 10 unit orcs, right? Like, because that
Yeah.
will very much differ on how that works. And I do think that like the detachment system feels like it's a good way to kind of curb that, where it's like you are encouraged to play these three spaces of things, which should, in theory, reduce the scope of the amount of units you have. And you are encouraged to include in your army.
Yep.
But I do think that the 2-1 system is better for that, and I'm a little worried that it's all 1 DPs for the Orc Codex.
I think 2s and 1s and we're just like 3-1s are all perfectly fine systems. I think
I just
the
think the fact that there's no 2s in the Orc Codex worries me a little bit. I think that 2-1 is a good system that reduces like I think that the 2-1 system makes it very much easier for a player playing into your army to understand what
yeah.
the bulk of your army is doing. Whereas when I have to like look at your three and be like, well, which one of these do I actually care about, right? When I rock up to a table and my opponent's playing Lies of the Emperor plus some other crap, I can kind of like, and what's the one strategy you're using that word for? Cool, move on.
Right.
Whereas when it's
A
3-1
carnival and
DPs, it's a
frenzied,
lot.
right?
Yeah, exactly right. It's a lot more cognitive load for the opponent and for the player to kind of be like, well, I have to keep attention. I think that the 2-1 system is generally, I think I prefer it to the 3x1s, but we'll see if that continues to hold. What I'm hoping is that they've left space for like some of these 1 DPs are going to be busted, and we're going to up those ones to 2 DP,
Yep.
and that will be the way that we balance these. I think that seems pretty reasonable to me, but we shall see.
Yep. I think they're doing a really good job. I am very hopeful at this
Yeah,
stage.
I'm excited to keep playing the edition. I like the boards. I don't like the mission system, but I think a lot of what else they're doing is pretty good. And I mean, I keep winning at it, right? It can't be that skillless, right? If I keep winning games the same as I was winning before, like it's clearly the people that are better tend to win more games, right? That's not changed. So
Yeah, I think the path to a W doesn't feel as good as it used to, but I think that's the mission problem that we've discussed at
depends
nauseam.
how
I think
quickly you
the
table
army
people. It
design
still feels
stuff's
pretty
in a
good.
much better spot.
Yeah, and we'll see if that holds through like Marine Codex or Codex full previews. If planes are really back, I'll be very mad.
Yeah, that would be shit. The planes are another one that are just like, I was joking before about 350 plus point models, but I do think all planes should just start at 500 points and
Yeah,
we're
I mean,
just
like the
like,
fact that the Storm Raven and all that kind of stuff got moved to Legends is genuinely a good thing. Like that model is a disaster
yeah,
class, and as a person who owns 4 of them, I'm glad they're gone.
yeah,
But yeah, I think the Germany Irish list that had the double Nephilim jet fighter, for example, is just an incredibly
brutal.
negative play pattern to exist in the game. It's just like, oh, did you want to play melee? What if you didn't get to play
Yeah,
the game because I brought this 400 point unit that's still pretty good in other matchups?
yeah, it's brutal. That's so
Yeah,
rough, dude.
I think it's generally unfair and unpleasant that that exists.
Yeah. You spend 400 points in Dark Angel, just no sell half the demon armies more. Crazy. Insane. Why would you not do that in singles?
Because you don't own 2 Nephilim jet fighters and you're worried that they're going to go to Legends in a month.
I mean, that sounds like a problem for you in a month if you got events in that window.
This is very fair. All right, I'm gonna do the plugs, and then we're gonna do some questions, and then we're gonna get out of here because I am gonna die. Anthony, is
Yeah.
there anything else you want to chat about before I do plugs?
No, I'm just expressing a general sense of positivity towards the game that I had not felt through basically all of 10th and certainly not the release of 11th. But I think there's a lot of room for them to make good decisions at this stage, and I like that they've given themselves the leeway to do so. They just have to, do it.
More levers, good. It's nice when there's more things to pull on, and the DPS, dispositions, and all that kind of stuff continues to give more levers to GW. That if they
Yeah.
use them, will allow the game to continue to get more and more
As
balanced.
long
And I
as
think
they
that's a good thing.
balance the dispositions against each other and not use like a bad dispo as jail for a detachment, that's
I
all I'm
really,
asking for.
really, really hope they never do that.
Again, yeah, they did it once and it was not good. So
Yeah,
please
I
don't do
think
that
that
a
like
second time.
if we're gonna do that, just print a 6th disposition that's called jail. Like just
Yeah.
print the gray disposition, and you're just like your detachment's in dispo jail, and
Yep.
every team must bring 1 detachment that's in dispo
No,
jail.
stop
That'd be the
that.
best.
Bad.
I would love that.
No. No.
How to
No.
fix 5, man? You can bring 6 different dispos.
You
You
gotta
can print
look
whatever you want.
Scott in the eyes when you say shit like this.
Scott, it's not disruption.
Brutal, dude.
Did you want to be in gray? You want to be in gray dispo? You're gonna have a great time.
Stop it. Enough.
All right, guys. I'm going to quickly do the plugs. As always, thank you so much for being with us so far. We'll continue the show after these brief messages. We'll be talking about some questions and all that from the audience. Uh, as always, if you are enjoying the show, please do all the usual social things. That's liking, commenting, subscribing. It really does help us out. We do our best to respond to all the comments and mess about with you guys and have a chat. It really does give us a lot of insight into what you guys are thinking about and lets us know when you think we did a good job. And I am entirely fueled by praise, so I really do require all of it to just like please. If I open up the thing and I only see like 6 comments, I'll cry myself to sleep that night. I'll just a little bit. Um, if you're in a position to do so and you'd like to support the show a little bit more, you can check out patreon.com/statcheck or YouTube memberships program in the description box below. $5 a month gets you access to our community Discord where you can have a chat with all of us. You can see all of the pictures I was posting for events this weekend. You can harass Yuri for ELO updates. Whatever you want to do. I wouldn't recommend doing that last one. It's very mean, but I will do it anyway because I really want to know. We are Yeah, we're doing a bunch of stuff there. I'm gonna even probably try to get a Vibe Check League launched up in the next couple of weeks because I think I have the bandwidth to maybe just about consider trying to do that. He said, cashing that in as many possible plausible deniabilities as
I
possible.
was gonna say, man, thinking about not doing it's like,
They're not doing it would be so fun, right? Like I
yeah,
could just cancel plans. Canceling plans is like crack cocaine.
yeah. It feels better than it should.
Dude, it's tough. If you would like to hear from any of the other shows on our network, you can check out youtube.com/statcheck. You can hear End of the Matrix X1, Take Out Commerce, Champions of 40K, Medicaid Orders, and probably us. Back episodes of StatCheck. They're live. We're live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK time, talking about 40K and the meta and the various things. Hopefully, we'll be back next week. We'll talk about orcs. I'll have another event under my belt. And we'll be, chatting about it. Hopefully, there's even a balance day today. Wouldn't that be great? There'd be so much we could talk about next week. Maybe we'll even be all awake and alive.
I'm pretty invested in Nova this year now because I got a couple of friends going, so I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
well, let's see.
When is Nova?
Next weekend.
Hell yeah. Well, I'll be rooting for everyone at Nova. If you'd like to check out any of our sponsors that bring you StatCheck, you can check out Wayland Yutani, J15 Games, Saltar Games, and the Red Dragon in the box below. There's discount codes for all of them except the Red Dragon. Red Dragon's discount code is available exclusively through our Patreon and YouTube memberships. If you'd like to work with any of our coaches, you can check out stat-check.com/coaching and drop us an email. We'd be more than happy to work with you on anything related to the new edition. If you want to get better at 40K, there are a few places in the world that you'll get better than you'll get in touch with better players than through StatCheck. We have some of the finest minds in the world. Some people that even won WTC or something. I hear they're quite good. You should definitely consider getting in touch, especially if you want to chat to such wonderful people. Like, I'm not going to list them all out because I'll insult one person that I don't name, and I'm not in the headspace to do
Just
that
look
right
at the link,
now. No,
folks.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
No, not you.
Oh no.
Others.
Okay, good, cool. Lastly, we have the show questions. If you want to get your question asked and answered on the show, there are 3 good ways to do it. One is to just ask a really good question in the live show. One is to be a member of our Patreon and YouTube membership community and ask it in the show questions thread. And the third is to leave a super chat like that one guy John just did, and we'll ask your question on the show. Thank you to John for the $5. Starring our Warbearers Army, pre or post Hellish colors, leaning to possessed, mutilated, etc.
Post.
The red is pretty cool. I did red for my first Chaos Space Marine army when I was like 12, and my Hellbrute is still in that paint scheme, and it's the only model I won't repaint for my Chaos Space Marines.
I I love me some word bearers, but post for sure.
Sounds good. Do I have any more? I have $2 from Scarecrow. Do you think EC will see 10-man Termies in 11th? Yeah, across the table from them probably.
I hope that when they do the like shuffling in when the space.
I think it'd be fine if they got 10-mans.
It'd be cool if they got.
I really don't get why they don't have them.
Someone was worried about a 10-man that advances and charges and goes too far, or
as opposed to like Bile, which doesn't do that at all.
The Bile unit dies instantly, right? Like a 10-man of Terminators as a late game piece in Coterie could be super fucking annoying.
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
Ben J has been a member for 19 months. What are some great uses of things like all the Legend Space Marine tanks? You could probably use them to like build a bed out of and make Scott sleep on it.
Yeah. Target practice. You live in America. Firearms,
you could probably get like a decent amount of money selling them to narrative players.
Or to heresy folks.
Chaos Space Marine players.
Yep.
Though Chaos Space Marine players, like I will say I'm going to tell a small anecdote because it made me laugh and I thought about it again. At the GW Open Birmingham, the one that Pac-Man Zealots was the best army in the game for, it was incredibly funny walking around and seeing all of the people's Chaos Space Marine armies because their Hellbrute always had whatever loadout their childhood Dreadnought had.
Yep.
Every single one of them. So, you'd walk over and Toby Bennett's there and he's got a plasma cannon and a power fist. And then that guy's got las cannon, multi-melter. And that guy's got double fist because it did not matter. It did not matter what that guy had.
He was
You
there for
had
an
it,
aura.
whatever whatever the dreadnought that you pulled out of your 12-year-old collection, that's what it had. It was my favorite. I
That's
definitely
awesome.
ran multi-melter power fist because that's what mine had. And it just did not matter at all. All right, let's do some show questions before my lungs give out.
Yeah, before you fall over dead.
Okay, from Anthony, one of my main take. Rickard asks from Anthony, one of my main takeaways after WC is it's nearly equally important to have your player comfy with a dispo as army. And he says, I agree with that based on my own personal experiences, but if I would like it if Anthony or someone else could expand on this a bit, perhaps with tangible examples.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that what happened is a lot of us, myself included, were like, of course I can play different mission setups. I've done that for all of 10th, all of 9th, all of whatever. I played the mission that was in front of me and I found a way to score points and that was fine. And it seems like, as time has gone on, dispos are not that. Dispos are in a lot of ways more similar to faction secondaries, where you really need to be like comfortably meshed in with them. And some of them do work to score on a corpse, right? Like, and that's all well and good, but being forced into a scenario where you must score on a corpse creates some awkward interactions that you would probably prefer are not there. You'll notice that some of the ones that are more drawish, generally in most people's perspective, between Purge and Prio, are my preference because the inherent stability of the mission allows for my more reckless playstyle to not have as many consequences associated with it if things go wrong when I am making my pushes. Now, the end state of these games will broadly look similar, but how you get there, it matters a lot. And it changes the individual pilot's level of both enjoyment and engagement with kind of the entire process in a way that's really important. I would argue as much, if not more important in some ways, than the literal faction they are playing.
Yeah, I will say that, for example, we had our player, Dan Greaves, that played a ton of Purge the Foe and basically only played Purge the Foe for like 30 to 50 games pre-WTC. And then we were like, well, he's played Purge the Foe and EC. It is more important that he stays on EC than Purge the Foe. That was not true.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I would have been better served playing Prio or Purge. Take was never really going to happen with the way our like Custodes Orc situation was set up. I let the kings on the mountain keep their fucking tithe. But the like Purge or Prio probably would have been a net better thing for me to have landed on in that space. That, and whether that was picking up coterie and giving that more effort, or I don't really think I could. I didn't really have more effort to give by the end of WTC. I kind of threw my corpse over the finish line on that one, but just like a different place to direct that effort. I think.
Dude, I
with
would
the
have
benefit of
loved the
hindsight.
Dark Angel's legal Prio build. That would have been great. Company Hunters with Prio. I would have. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
sure. It's probably glad that that doesn't. It's probably good that that
It's
can't
probably a
happen.
good thing for the game that we had to play reconnaissance for that army. And I
Yeah.
did think it did a good job of being the recon spot, but I think John mentioned that it's like a little uncomfy only having 13 unit recon.
Yeah, I mean, I was 12 unit recon. It was super uncomfy, but the yeah, I think it matters a lot, and I think people need to take a firm look at like if you're not enjoying parts of 11th or you're not enjoying some part of your army in 11th, try a different dispo. Like your
Yeah.
detachment and all that shit matters way less than it used to in that
It
context.
doesn't not matter for context. Like you should still play a good
Yeah,
detachment, but if the dispo, like if you have the choice between two things and you're like 95% on one of them and 100% on the other one, but the one that you're 95% on has a better dispo, you should play the better dispo. I think
the
is
better
kind of where
dispo
we're at.
for you.
Yes, for you specifically, right? You give it like I would recommend giving like all the dispos that you have access to like a rating out of 5, and all the detachments that you would be willing to play a rating out of 5 and play the highest combined score for yourself is
Yep.
probably like an easy way to think about it, right? If you're like, well, Coteries a 5 out of 5, but it has to play Ryo, which is a 3 out of 5 for me, and Carnival's a 4 out of 5, but it gets to play Ryo, it gets to play, Reconnaissance, which is a 5 out of 5 for me. You should play the 9 out of 10 combined instead of the 8 out of 10 combined, right?
Yep.
Just do your thing. Um, I had another point I was going to make and I lost it, and that's fine. We're just going to move on.
Keep it moving. But yeah, that's most of it for me. I think that like just being lined up well matters a lot.
Oh yeah, I remember my point. It was a joke. It wasn't a funny one. But my
Oh,
star sign is Scorpio. My disposition is Purge, and those are both about as relevant, right? Uh,
yeah, yeah, for real.
Dispositions are just astrology for men. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
right. Hilarious.
All right.
Dumb.
Il Pipsy asks, are you more scared of the or interested by the big shape that's going to be T5 and all power armor? I think we covered that. We're more interested. Marcus asks, now that loyalists are going to lose the Vindicator, when can a Quartz Emperor worshipping Astartes go to save their gambling addiction? Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, the Lancer? If you want to just raw dog a game with no winning, the Lancer is there for you.
You've also got, if you want to play something that's not shit, the ability to play Templar Repexes with the eventuality that Mercius Weakness will get printed somewhere in a way that is evil. And that'll get you over the line.
That is also true. You could also just do that with like Sword Brethren. They are
Yeah,
casino
any of the
cannons.
Templar melee pieces do that pretty good.
It's like, what if I pass this leadership test though?
Oh no, bad news. Yeah.
Okay. Stuart asks, I hope to wake up tomorrow and see smart and cool T3 armies no longer crowded the area by big time stat checks. What nebulous, non-specific things would you like to see, and how am I coping? I would like to see points increased on big stat check armies, and it be harder for take and hold, purge, and prior and reconnaissance to score their points, so that games were a little bit more about like playing the game instead of just jamming your shit at each other and seeing who's ugly bumped harder.
Yeah, I think the score caps we talked about earlier, the hand size caps, all that stuff is the stuff that really needs to change. Like I don't think the way
Dawn just fucking all the way off.
yeah, sure. But I don't think that like I'm gonna be honest, I think you could leave the way that like take purge, prio, recon, you could literally even leave the scoring there, but just cap it and don't let end of battle be a separate thing. And I think you have like a way more reasonable game.
Yeah, potentially. I would like it to matter that you denied points at some point in the game as
Yeah.
like an Eldar or GSC army. It just doesn't right now. Like I hate my least favorite thing is like when I'm playing into take and hold and I like deny their objective and they get 3 points for killing the unit I denied it with and 3 points for retaking the objective and I net gave them 2 points. It makes me want to jump off a bridge in Minecraft.
Yeah.
It is
I
very,
get
very
it.
stupid. Moose War Mason asks, do you have any ideas on how to help a team decide who should play what disposition for teams? Who doesn't have a choice? And actually, if you're doing this for like casual, what I would genuinely suggest is that you let people stake draft their army and their dispo.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
It's fun.
I think having a well-organized captain who's willing to make difficult
Just tell someone
decisions
no. Yeah.
is the right way to handle
Give
this.
your second best player their first choice, and then your best player will adapt.
I wouldn't handle it that way, but you can do that.
I find it's generally slightly easier doing it that way. Your best player will figure it out. Your second best player should just go for the thing that's going to get them the biggest scores.
I am uncomfortable painting with that wide a brush on many teams, but I would
That's
just
fair.
say that I think you should aim to not have
Well, that's why we
someone...
gave Brian. That's why we gave Brian his choice for Poland. So
Right. I mean, there you go. I think the goal should be to avoid having someone have to get neither of what they want between
yeah.
army and dispo. To the
Everybody
best of
should.
your ability.
I would recommend everybody doing their first choice and their second choice, and then working within that to try to get the best composition as decided by you guys, and just
Yep.
being okay that you're going to get it slightly wrong because so is your opponent. No team
Yep.
is going to get it perfectly.
I agree.
What's your favorite, most concerning combo of 1 DPs you've seen so far from the Orkbook? We'll talk about that next week.
I haven't really seen anything that
Gregory
like,
says, "What do I need to do or learn to go from a 3-2 player or to a 4-1 player besides playing the top list at the moment?"
coaching.
That is probably a pretty good answer, but I would say the biggest thing to do is just like take a step back and actually plan how you're planning approaching a game and a turn. Like take a step back and think about what you're actually doing. Don't just autopilot because your autopilot's a 3-2 player. So step off the autopilot as much as you can and actively engage with the game that you're about to play. And, hope that works when you're taking more of a concern. And if you're taking that step back and it's not working for you, you can start asking about why did your planning not work? Or was it your execution or your plan? That's the best thing that I can recommend.
Yep.
Joe R asked, this is probably a daft question, but a major competitive event, do people actually do the secretly note down strat reserves and who's in transports thing? How does that work in practice compared to what to be standard practice? Most of the time, it doesn't matter. But if you have one of those matches where like it kind of does, you just do it secretly.
The only person I've ever met, the only teams that I've ever played against that have actually written down their reserves is the German team.
Germany? Yeah.
Yep.
I have the only time I ever did this in 10th edition, I've not done it yet in 11th edition, was when I was playing GSC mirror matches because it really does matter whether you picked like what's in reserve, whether you picked assassination call or whether you picked tactical. And
Most
doing
of the
it, yeah.
time I like literally have my reserves positioned like
differently on your tray.
on the table already, and I'm like, yeah, that shit over there is in reserves,
Yeah,
boss.
for sure. I think it is very much a case of like you will know when it matters, and until then, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it does matter, you just have to be like, hey, can we do this on a bit of paper, right? Like it's totally fine.
Yep.
Everyone is hopping on the Shooting Orcs bandwagon since pressure builds are dead next week. Max says, missed last episode, so congrats Team USA. Good job on capitalizing on the year you didn't have to play us. Yeah, I mean, you guys couldn't even be us, so chill out, Max.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
We,
I
we we
think
protected the USA from you guys, all right? That's
yeah,
what I'm
or
going
you
with.
protected the polls from us.
Either way, how would you know? You didn't play them.
I did watch them.
Max says, surely I won't let all this steel come and get in my head, right? Yes, you will, Max. You will absolutely let it go to your head. You'll also let it go to your head that you'll see me wearing your shirt at team events now. That will definitely go to your head as well.
Yep.
I think I lost one of my jerseys. Have you guys seen it? Last spot on a guy collecting some 40k ambassador trophy. Good, preempting me. Do you think the dedicated anti-archetype lists are just worse than something generically good now, like the Australian Blood Angels versus Custodies, for example?
I think so. I think just taking like they've for all of my optimism for the future, I do think teams in 40k at this point has largely devolved down to being like 8 separate singles games that happen, and like
It's like 6 and 2 blunders a lot of the time now,
yeah,
which it
like
wasn't like. I do think that is for accessibility generally a good thing. I do think I like this system now, where it's a bit more like people playing together
yeah,
rather than like this completely obscure opaque thing that you had to be like 17 levels deep in pairings understanding to handle.
I
And
think
I think
it's
we'll find the skill as we go.
I think it's going to take some time before just taking
Yeah. I think
several
part of
good
this is
things.
just the meta game as well right now, just being like really wacky, right? Us
The
not having
haves
your
and have
adventure
nots
and
is pretty
yeah.
exaggerated right
And I
now.
think that that is exacerbating. We've definitely had meta games in teams where it was very like this in previous editions, right? Where it's just
Sure.
like, yeah, well, we brought the 8 best things and we first invented the one that took board choice best, right? It's never been bad.
Yep.
Um, and then on that note, do you think they had one for Lennon and well in case he didn't win again? That's very funny. Lastly, how blessed are Team USA that the breaks between rounds were so long so they could get back to the launch after investing half an hour arguing with the refs?
I think the main thing about the breaks being so long meant that we had an actual chance to eat, which was good. Um, but I would not say that we were doing most of the arguing with the refs all of the times that that happened.
Sometimes protecting people from themselves requires arguing with a ref. All right. Pius says, "Hey guys, how do you think the amount of effort put in by top WC teams is sustainable long term?
No. um,
Maybe."
uh, I I think stuff needs to change from a player health perspective, both at the event and how we handle the timing of the event. Um, the fact that we took on a slate 5 days before list lock was garbage that could not have contributed positively to the health of the event. The fact that it is positioned such a way that it will always get fucked by a slate and a
Edition
new
change.
edition
Yep.
and anything that happens in the window in which we know Games Workshop to be most likely to release a thing is bad. And I think there is some stuff at the event that probably could be better with regards to player wellness when it comes to, you know, the heat in the hall and shit.
I don't know if there's a good way to deal with that while still having it between the months of January and December, but
There are much better ones. It did not have to be
there
the
are.
way that it was.
That is true.
But I think that in general, I think that the reason Team USA was successful this year was our pivot in mindset towards it being a multi-event season so that we had release valves to be like, we went to this event, we did really
Take a
fucking
break.
well.
Yeah.
Take a little bit of a break, back in the saddle for the next one if you're doing both, and if not, take some time off. That way that all, my lads that went to Pyra didn't necessarily have to be equally revved up again right afterwards for Home Nations and then again for WTC, right? At the end of the day, I think it's really this year our resiliency as a unit that won us the event as much as our play. So finding paths towards healthier players is I
Keep the
think
faith
that a
wet,
lot of
brother.
what teams should be focusing on going into next year.
I think that's very reasonable. I do think it is. You've definitely said this before that like 40K is a game where if you're not obsessed, the guy that replaces you will be.
Yep.
And that is always going to be challenging when you are trying to compete for one of 8 spots to play for your country, right? Like if you don't have an unhealthy relationship with it, the guy that wants your spot will have an unhealthy
Well,
relationship, will put in
yeah.
more work.
Yep.
And if you want to be better than that guy, you have to decide where that cutoff is for you and how many times you're willing to make that sacrifice.
Or you
And there
better
is
start from a point much farther down the road than them.
Godspeed.
Yep.
It is tough. There is not a good way to solve for, yes, people wanting to get better pushes everyone else to get better, which pushes everyone else to put in more effort, right? That's just
Yeah.
not, there's not a solve for the human condition, unfortunately.
No, and I don't even think it's a bad thing. I think the
No, I don't think it
strive,
is either.
the push is good, but it's
But
tough.
it's okay if it's not for you every year.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's okay if it is, right? Like ultimately that's fine too, right? Like
Yep.
if you want to do it every year, you want to push, you want to be Skark or me or Leo or someone like that, like it's out there. You can go and do it.
Assuming Lennon starts next year, he will tie Gagno's record for us for most consecutive starts
This was my
at
10th
6.
year. 10th year.
Yeah.
2017 was my first year. I coached that first year, but I obviously took 2 years off for COVID. But 10 years, it's been a long fucking time.
Yeah. And even then, that COVID break is probably the only reason it was able to be 10, right?
Probably. I don't even know what would have happened if the COVID break, if, like the COVID break was very different, right? But it would have
Right.
changed a lot of the way that the game developed.
100%. But
Yeah,
I just think in general, you know.
yeah. Games Workshop making money hand over fist during that period kind of hurt.
Yep.
Isaac says, Anthony, could you please stop Ruben for trying to kill all my team, tell all my teammates to play Windrider host? We're trying to do well at Challengers and he is not helping. Well, Isaac, you're not
I,
going to do well anyway, so you should play Windrider host.
my answer would be that if you think his concept is not good enough to be run, then you should show them that on the table.
Yeah, just beat him. Keaton says, "What's the general WC community vibe on GW boards now post event?" I actually haven't really spoken to anyone about it. I thought they were fine.
I
Like for what they were fine.
I think that Warhammer players will put up with garbage forever if you just put in the pack that there will be garbage there.
That
Now,
is probably true as well.
that said, I haven't heard anyone, like super desperate to go back to a separate system or anything like that, but I do think
I think there's
again,
lots of room for improvement, and I think the terrain itself is the terrain is a little small, right? Like the actual physical
yep,
like walls are a little small, and I would like to say that they just like block up to the height for like the
yep,
little bits just to make things a little easier. But that's a like separate conversation. I do think that the layouts could use work, but I think the terrain itself is basically fine.
yep. I think so.
The biggest problem with the terrain is like related to the go to ground rule, not the terrain
Yeah,
itself.
I mean go to ground needs work, but the
Yeah,
I would also like to see more layouts have ruins touch more board edges. Like,
I would agree. Yeah, I think I would like to see every layout be six. It would be like that middle bit be split, and sometimes you're just
yep,
like just there's an extra piece that is a middle objective. Sometimes it would be fine if there was like one more piece on some of the on the boards,
yep,
or like do the double touching middle on every board. I think would also be fine, but like the
sure.
two little small pieces. I think there's better ways to use the terrain, like more efficient ones that use the board edge a little more. I do think that most of the time that I saw someone be like, "Oh man, I got shot off the board," it was basically because they played against a scout army or they were playing three defilers.
I mean, there's a couple other scenarios in which I've been shot off the board so far in 11th, but yeah,
Yeah, for sure. But it felt like like I would say like 70% plus was like you are playing tank skew, and I'm sorry that's never
you
functioned on
get
any board
shot.
that wasn't a
That shit
super L.
happens.
Yeah, sorry you brought big knights. That is just unfortunate.
Yep,
Like you're going to get shot if you go second, and then some of them was just like, I went second against Tau and the game ended, and that is as always challenging. Uh, da, da, da. That's not a question, Ruben. Gregory asks Anthony, "What would you do if Berserker Warband goes to 2DP? Probably play it."
that'd be fucking sick. I've said this basically from the beginning, but Berserker Warband plus any of the 1 DPs is such
Just
an
a really good
exciting
detachment.
build.
I would gladly play Vessels Berserker, but Vessels Berserker sounds like exactly what I want World Eaters to be.
So fun. It could be so cool.
Yeah, dude. I get to have Juggerlords that do something. Oh my god.
Oh, and all of your like Slaughterbound and like the MOEs are better. You could run like a solo MOE in a Rhino with an 11 man that's led and have him punt out and do
Dude, it'd
stuff.
be so cool. T5 as
Amazing.
well.
Um, the Terminator build is super interesting, like as well, like plus and wound Terminators with like Berserker Warband buffs over top. So cool. There's a bunch of like really, really, really interesting stuff you can do in these builds, and like they would all be super cool. World Eaters would go from having zero
Finished
fully.
painting mine out today.
There you
My
go.
first one of 10.
Yeah, World Eaters would go from having zero properly viable builds to having three, I think, basically instantly, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and I
I
think
think
with the
it would.
T5, we're probably going to see Gortrak pop up a little bit because I think the Lance does help a lot at Strength 5. But
Yeah, yeah. When that change happens, if they happen at the same time, then sure,
yeah.
yeah. I think there's a bunch of shit that could be real if it just kind of depends. There are other changes that need to go along with this, but them announcing that they're doing a strength and toughness
BWB just
change.
going to 2 would be enough to be like, okay, there is probably a build that you could justify playing for WT for World Eaters in singles.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
you
could
could
have
probably
played
win.
it if Berserker Warband was 2 and 11th came out. I would have played World Eaters at WTC probably.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Um,
I think
yep,
Dan would have as well.
probably.
All right. Next up, we have how do you guys mentally shake off a bad game before starting the next?
Uh, I had a really bad childhood, so I developed something called the nothing box, which is where shit I don't want to think about goes to live. And if you just jam that shit in there, you keep it moving. The real answer is that I mostly play teams, and me having a like a a bad game is not necessarily indicative of a bad round, and that will be there are 8 of us for a reason. Um, so
I mostly just let it ruin my day because I'm bad at dealing with loss. And that is a lot of the reason why I got good at Warhammer is because don't handle loss well. I have gotten better at it over the years, mostly by like literally exposure therapy. Playing like other games helps a lot with that.
yep,
Like I know there was a meme for a while of like me sitting playing Marvel Snap and stuff like that. But playing games like Marvel Snap or chess or Pokemon Champions or whatever the fuck else it is, you play a game where you lose half the games you play. It makes it much easier to like come to terms with just like losing a little bit.
sometimes you be
And
losing.
that did help a lot, which is like getting comfortable with seeing the words you lose.
Right.
But yeah, I do still find it really challenging. I do not lose particularly well. I try to be, as gregarious as you can be at the table, right? Because yeah, I mean, no one likes losing, right? But you don't have to be an asshole about it. And your opponent didn't do anything. Like your
Yeah.
opponent beat you fair and square, and you shake their hand, and you're a nice person about it, and you joke with them, and you have a chat, and then afterwards you cry in the bathroom. Um,
Depending on the event, depending on the year,
Mostly kidding.
been there.
But yeah, a lot of it is just having a good support system of people that you like can talk to when you. I don't like traveling to events by myself particularly much because I don't have someone else that I can like sit and chat to about it. Just be like, oh man, bad beats. Like sometimes you just want someone else to rub you on the shoulder and say, bad beats, bro.
Right.
That's really all you're looking for. Um, I also have tried to incorporate the I don't mind like if I didn't if I didn't get value out of losing games like that, why am I playing the game? Because ultimately, I want to be challenged and I want to play against people who make me be better and to work harder and to do, make better decisions next time. And if losing a game where I feel like I gave it a good shot and I lost and like, yeah, man, sucks to suck, but that's an improvement point. That's something you can work on. If I don't enjoy that growth and development process, why am I
What the,
still playing the game if
what
I'm
the
only
fuck are
playing
we
it to try
doing
to have a
with?
100% win rate? Like that's not an achievable goal. It's not particularly desirable goal, right? I still want it to be challenging.
Yep.
So I'm trying to get better with that part of it, but it's still tough. I still do not like losing.
I mean, I fucking hate it. I'm competitive, all the way through. Uh, it's
That's why Anthony and I only ever played like 3 games. It's very, very challenging. We just don't play. Don't want to play.
it is what it is, dude. Uh, as it turns out, 40K is mostly a competitive outlet for me and not something that I always super enjoy just going through the motions of. So, um, yeah,
Would I have fun at this event if I had 0 games? Is a good question. I would not. Just
the
straight up,
answer
I
to
would
me for
not.
that, by the way, is literally never.
Yeah, no. If I lost, like unless it like if it was like a 3 round invitational or something like that, where it was like you're gonna
Sure.
come and play like this event with like 8 of the best players in the world, and I went 0-3 of that, I'd be like, yeah, I'm at bad beats, right? If I went 0-5 at a GT, I do not think I would be a pleasant person to be around.
Yeah.
Thank you to Tim Penny for the late stage capitalism tokens and the $50 super chat.
We,
Tim, you really don't have to launder money through
I
your
love it,
own.
dude. I love
I
me some
It's
late stage
fun, but
capitalism tokens.
yeah. Okay. DT asks, is former noted Eldari hater only a couple of sponsored orc boxes away from becoming noted former orc hater in his Wilson? No. I can tell you why, because I have owned orcs since I bought my first box of Warhammer. Assault on Black Reach was my starter set. I never painted the orcs from it, and I still probably have them in the garage somewhere. And there's
That's
half an
so
Armageddon
funny.
box that I'm not going to open. And no, I will not do it. I may, if orcs are truly busted, on in the year of committing to just playing the best thing, borrow an orc army for an event like LGT or LVO, because I'm not fucking about this year. But I will never own that army. You
What about
cannot.
for a
I will not.
WCW?
If I believe that it is necessary for me to play that army for me to have the best chance of winning the ITC this year, I will do it.
Damn, clip it, chat. Get his
That's
ass.
fine. I am here. I am not here to fuck spiders this year.
Yeah, that's fair. That's look, I get
I
it.
would significantly rather not.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you cannot have. I'm pretty sure I gave the Coptus to someone a long time ago, Ben. Um, the exact and only models I don't think I still have. I think a lot
Hilarious.
of them got like chopped up and turned into basing material and stuff as well, or like or like in a box of models that have fallen to bits over the course of years that I keep around because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure I have a Carnifex Venom cannon in that box because I'm autistic.
And you remember where that shit goes.
Yeah, dude. Joey asks, what do I do if I have to play against Folger this weekend? The aura is too immense. See if you can get at least 3 of his toes off the ground so he can't be 10 toes down. He will lose instantly.
Whatever you do, don't look at the picture of him with the 4 rings going like this. That will set you on a path to lose instantly.
It's not 5 rings, though, brother. What's he doing?
I mean, he could put his WCW one on there if they gave
He
him
could,
one of
yeah.
those, but he only had the 4 on him from the the WTC. Lord
Pretty good.
forbid.
Yeah, exactly. Not 5, though, right?
It's true.
Folger, four rings for 4 ups.
Yeah, that's right. He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's about. Yeah, get his toes off the ground. He cannot if he can't be 10 toes down if he's got 3 toes up.
We
I
didn't know that was
have
our round
decided that
chat.
I'm going to name my Titan in honor of Folger in some degree, something to do with
Hilarious.
like toes being down, but like Latinized a little bit more because I
Perfect.
think that just sounds fun.
Yeah, that's funny.
Um, it'll be like if it's got like 6, if it's got like I don't know how many toes a Warhound Titan has, but it will be like 6 It'll be like 6 treads asunder or something like that if it's got
Sure.
6
Perfect.
because Folger has earned the glory. All right, and Eric Cullis Chan is the last question that I asked. Which couple of armies did better than you thought they would do, and which couple did worse? I was a little under impressed with EC. I was a little over impressed with T-Suns.
I was not particularly impressed with T-Suns. Every round we came against the T-Suns, I was like, okay. um, I think EC. I think EC was a victim of a couple of things, but yeah, I would say it did not perform at the event the way that it had in practice, and I don't know what made that happen. Um,
Orcs overperformed my expectations, which was that they were the best army in the game, and they overperformed that somehow.
yeah, I could not believe
The
what
degree to
happened
which
to
orc
me.
counters just got blown up by orcs.
I mean, as someone that was trying to do that, I could not believe what happened to me when it happened. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it's tough.
But shit happens. I think
Were there any like Marines that didn't do that well?
demons were perhaps in a position to be better than they were, but every team we played against just kept feeding them to folders so they could get slaughtered. So I don't know what the fuck happened there.
CSM was worse than I thought it was going to be. I think generally across the board it did not do particularly well.
I think CSM was fine. It just wasn't great. It's one of those things you get nerfed enough times. Sometimes it puts you away.
Yeah, Knights was as bad as I thought it was going to be. Dark Angel was better than I thought it was going to be, and I thought it was the best army in the game. I just turns out Orcs is even better, but
Yeah, I mean Dark Angels is fucked up. So what are you gonna
a good
do?
time. I got a 7-0 with this and not Levy Nids. That's telling me something.
Yep.
Right. Shall we do the worst part of the show for me because
You
it's called
can.
High Five and I have to read it. Yeah, I know. I when I said me, I know it was you, Adnan. I don't even convinced you have access to this room in the Discord.
I don't
I'm
even
sure
know what
you
it
do,
is.
but I don't know if you'll have ever looked for it. All right. Call it the High Five, as always, is our $15 a month or more patrons. If you are in that tier, you can access a spreadsheet where you can leave a call out for the end of the show. We greatly appreciate all of our Call it the High Five patrons. A few of them even came up and maybe give them handshakes at WTC, which I definitely forgot was a thing when they were like, "Hey, you're due me a handshake," and I'm like, "What on earth do you mean? I've never met you before." That will continue to be slightly confusing to me. I will continue to echo the thing of if you don't know me, if we've not met before, please introduce yourself when you walk up to me. It would be so helpful,
Yeah.
just all the time. All right. Thank you to Christopher. We'll see you in Barcelona, Irvine. Congrats to Chris for winning his golden ticket. Well done, brother. So proud of you. And you caught a cheat on the way. That's just impressive. Thank you to Willow Weeks. Thank you to Dan F. Thank you to Luke Harden's taking the subway McCarthy. Thank you to David Clark. Thank you to Just Ayer. Thank you to James H. Thank you to Colton Dan F. Miller. Thank you to Fungus. Thank you to John V. Gang. I forgot my high five. Silly, silly man, John. Thank you to Cam F. Dan Morton Hog Emoji Hog Emoji. Thank you to Archon Biblically Accurate Eldar Player Rahal. Thank you to Josiah Gattle. Thank you to Frankie. Thank you to Isaac. Tonight on StatCheck, Innis Dima Canton objectives. That's tortured as hell, Isaac. I'm sorry. Anthony loves T5 Marines and everyone else died. That is basically accurate, yes. Thank you to Mwahaha Land Speeders Mwahaha. Thank you to Bolter's Wound Saris on sixes. So if they go to strength 6, Saris should go to strength toughness 12. That's the only metric I use, the Saris metric. Stephen, go back to playing 18 destroyers. Thank you to Tom, officially entering my Necromunda Daddy era H. Thank you to Thanks Folks. Thank you to Floof. Thank you to Come With Me on a Gucci Adventure trademark. Thank you to Henry. Penguins can store oxygen in their muscles for longer diving sessions. The Wizard. Thank you to Penny the Penguin will be very sad if StatCheck ends. Please don't make Penny the Penguin sad. This is your penguin fact. Thank you to Matthew, Payne Engine Aficionado. Thank you to Vivian, I fought the law and the law won. Thank you to turns out that running a super major while also prepping for a major platform migration at work makes someone quite busy. On a related note, send help. Everyone send help to Rickard and send in their energy for running the Ottawa Red Dragon super major this weekend. Thank you to Alex, biblically accurate. Let's go emoji H. Thank you to Luke, USA, 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 United States of America, USA, 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 United States of America, USA, USA, Gallo. And that's it. Thanks to everybody for being part of the show. We greatly appreciate all of you, and we will catch you next time. It has been a pleasure, a joy, and I am so tired. Anthony, anything you want to end on?
Not that I can think of.
Fantastic. I hope the data slate's kind to everybody. If you're in an event this weekend, best of luck. If you're for some reason at the Saltar Games GTRTT, come say hi. It'd be great to meet you. If you're in Dundee and you're looking for an event this weekend or in and around Scotland, come to the Saltar Games GT. It's you can find it on the Saltar Games Facebook page. Best of luck. Catch you next time.